They say a great deal about you, Witcher, and whispers.
It's an escort. Not something I do often. It's an escort. Not something I do often, but we'll investigate.
Disperse! The exhibition at the Reginald Dobry Monument will remain closed until further notice.
Closed? Why, we wrote...
Late. Why does that not surprise me?
Well, well. I did not expect you to have such a sense of style. My, Geralt. Not bad at all. And you've even a mask. Just not the kind required.
Huh?
They're a little different, the ones Mandragora members wear. I've brought you one. Put it on.
Any idea why they wear masks?
Likely because they imagine it oh so very romantic and mysterious. The truth is far simpler. This way, no one can tell which drunken aristocrats are pinching the performers.
Let's go. Soiree's started.
Mm-hmm. Wise of you to hide your weapons. They'd not have let us in otherwise, that's certain. How do we find the Cintrian? Have you a plan?
Key is not to spook him. Need to ask after his partner, Cecilia, first. Less likely to raise suspicions. Soon as we find her, we find him. Especially since he might be expecting us.
What do you mean?
Ran into some of his thugs in town. Knew who I was. Had it in for me.
Right. Right you are. We must proceed with caution. Come, it's our turn.
Madame, Monsieur, an extraordinary pleasure to welcome you to the Mandragora's soiree. Tonight, I particularly recommend you direct your attention to the performances prepared by artists of our community.
Tell us about these performances.
This evening, the Mandragora has the honor to present 3 superb displays of artistry. The first was a concert by Cecilia Bellont, a singer whose voice, were it stone, would surely be a diamond. Sadly, Mademoiselle Cecilia has sung.
Shame. We would have loved to hear her.
Luckily, you are in time to see the great Calesti, a master of visual illusions, come to us from far off Aphir.
Visual illusions. Interesting. And the third artist?
The third and fourth, for they are a duo, are the Tuven brothers, presenting their newest pantomime.
We were really hoping to meet Cecilia Bellont.
You are admirers, I surmise. I'm certain you will have ample opportunity to converse with her.
It cannot be easy to identify anyone in this crowd. Perhaps you could help us find her.
I don't know where she is now, but I can give you a clue.
Let's hear it.
Seek the Kaviri orchid.
Meaning?
Cecilia wears one in her hair. You shall recognize her easily by the orchid.
Well, well. Dandelion's always complaining about artists being poor as temple mice.
The residence belongs to none of them. They are guests here. Oriana, she owns this. Woman in the black dress. There, on the balcony.
Got her. Doesn't wear a mask?
It would be pointless. All would know her anyway.
Kaviri orchid. Let's look for it. If we find Cecilia, we'll find the Centrian.
Please do not disturb. One
Go on, Geralt, be bold. Show us the artist in you.
good foe, yet another soul longing to express its creative side.
Well, you are not a god.
Sight. Quite the noble color. Splendid. The sky over Toussaint.
Or a deeply internalized.
Please do not disturb. Yellow. Whatever yellow.
It's obvious. It represents transgression in its purest form.
Shoot your tires away, Suze. Drop them in the pail and grab a different array.
Look at the mage. I believe he's casting spells.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's an outrage. Cecilia never should have performed tonight. You should have. That someone knows nothing of true art. It shall be you next time. Trust me.
Ah,
I shall have a
how
word with
beautiful.
It's an original.
The dolphins. That is no ordinary illusion. The man is a true artist.
Impressive.
This is deftly done.
Absinthe, the preferred hooch of artists.
Careful, it packs a pretty powerful punch.
I've built up a pretty powerful resistance.
What else would they think of? If they can't agree, cut the line. And leave some strength. Red green, lush and verdant as a field of vines. To vines and to wine! Scarlet Prince of Foxland. Full sensory composition takes shape.
Yes, it's sure to be a masterpiece.
I got it. It's the Soreto.
It's not a landscape, you pleb. It's a manifestation of the man's soul.
Voila! Fine. Now, allow me a moment to ponder. My appraisal? The painting depicts spiritual dualism. The continual battle between good and evil. And defiance.
Oh yes, that's him all right. Good versus evil. The dualistic nature of man.
And defiance.
This thing, it's harder. It's very...
Still,
Look, lanterns. They say releasing them brings good luck.
Fine. Let's give it a try.
Never suspected you believed in such things.
But what if he doesn't come?
He'll definitely come. Don't worry.
How can you be so sure?
Please go.
Aren't they even? Because the right cuff seems...
Then I shall have to convince you your ample generosity would be best invested in me.
And how do you aim to do that?
I shall arrange a private performance after the soiree.
Ah, my dear. I sense you... Sure, it's an original. The great one. But he's a dance.
That's to say, the other one.
Do not disturb! Shoo! Shoo!
It's the right flower.
Of course it is! A Koviri orchid lends just the right contrast to her complexion.
Need to talk to your model. It'll only take a minute.
To me?
Lie still! You may speak, but for love's sake, do not move.
Wow. Impressive portrait.
I know the style, the stroke. This is Dorian Velez.
The gracious lady has heard of me?
I've heard Anna Henrietta herself wished you to paint her portrait once.
At one point, the palace chamberlain even wrote to me, but alas, ultimately refused my terms.
What was the matter?
When he learnt I only ever paint nudes, he severed all contact. He said he would not dare offend her illustrious highness with such a proposition. I've always longed to paint her. Such a shame.
I think you may still get your chance.
We came here to meet you, specifically.
To meet me? But why?
Cintrian Noble you came here with. Wanted to ask you about him.
Cintrian Noble. Ah! You must think I'm Cecilia.
Orchid confused me.
I told you not to move!
As she concluded her performance, Cecilia tossed the flower into the crowd. I caught it, but I did see the nobleman.
Really like to talk to him. What did he look like?
Like many here. Tall, dark, masked.
Know where he might be now?
He gave Cecilia a small gift, a heart-shaped box. Then they strolled off together towards the refreshment tables.
Excuse me, madame, monsieur, I cannot work like this. You must leave now.
letter penned on a napkin. Look.
Oh, my amour, my sunbeam flittering across the...
Empty, heart-shaped box. Cecilia must have left it behind.
Looks like it held a flask of perfume. Gift from the Symphony, I imagine.
Scent still hangs in the air. Let's follow it.
Color is but the shadow of deliberations on the nature of existence. It is irrelevant to its ultimate meaning.
But what if he doesn't come?
He'll definitely come. Don't worry.
How can you be so sure?
As I said, only Mandragora artists allowed. Nothing I can do.
Come. We must consider what to do.
I'd recognize that voice anywhere.
You must be mistaking me for someone else.
I served 15 years in the palace. Your Grace, I'd not mistake you for anyone.
Shh. Not so loud. We are here incognito, on state business.
Yes, Your Grace. How may I serve?
I hope we can count on your discretion.
Boss, I shall be silent as the grave.
Looking for Cecilia Bellant. Seen her?
She's in her dressing room, where she went with a nobleman. They clearly were drawn to each other.
What did the man look like?
Tall, broad-shouldered, a black beard peeping out from under his mask, and he spoke with a foreign accent, a drawl of sorts.
That must be him. We must get to the dressing room, quickly.
Yes, Your Grace. I'll take you.
No, stay here. Anyone tries to flee, you stop them.
Understood.
Quickly, upstairs. That must be Cecilia.
No pulse. We're too late.
He slit her throat. The brute.
Didn't go out the door. Guard would have noticed. Might still be somewhere here.
You must find him before he harms another. I shall alert Oriana. At once. She should bring her soirée to a close.
Shouldn't split up.
Geralt, I will be fine. Go after that rogue. I shall fetch help.
Bloody handprint. It's his. Tore down the door. Made a platform. Clever. Must be pretty strong, too. Broke the flower pot when moving the door, then stepped in the soil. Must have climbed this ladder. Could still be here. Need to stay alert. Smashed mirror. Someone crashed into it, hard, then sank to the floor. Bloodstains. Links of a snapped chain. Jewel must have been on it. Jewelry box. Lock's busted. Picked open, probably. Empty inkwell. Knocked over, turned toward the room. Looks valuable, but it's not what he came for. Hunting knife, richly ornamented. Used during the fight, probably. Canvas is cut. Somebody took a knife to the painting, looks like. Locked. No key in sight. Sconce is bent, smeared with blood. Someone try to grab it? Blood on the window frame. Someone climb out? Fall out? Links of a snapped chain. Jewel must have been on it. Precious stone. Bloody fingerprint on it. Thief came for this, must have. Tiny chain links next to it. From a snapped necklace? Seems there was a struggle. Jewel was in the box, it seems. Centurion tried to steal it, but someone got in his way. They fought, struggled, that's clear. Ended with one of them flying out the window. Fall had to have killed them. Jewel's still here, though, so our Centurion must have been the flyer.
So, this is the tracker. A Witcher, yes?
Indeed, this is him. We found the
And ended up here, but I've only found evidence of a fight. Seems the Centurions killed his last. Finally failed this time. Shame it happened too late for Cecilia.
Poor girl. Always told her she chose her males badly. But I would never have suspected she could arrive with a murderer.
I'll alert the staff. Have them see to her body at once. Meanwhile, we should sit. I will tell you...
I caught him red-handed, attempting to burgle, rifling through my possessions.
What did you do? Summon the guards?
There was no time. I feared he'd escape, refused to give him the chance. He stood with his back to me, so I attacked. He struck his head on a picture frame as we struggled. He was bleeding, dazed, and then he drew a knife. Everything happened very quickly then. I knocked the weapon out of his hand and pushed him hard. He...
Fell out of the window.
Just so.
None too wise picking a
Why? Because I'm a woman, in a frock rather than...
A hairpin might look like mere ornament, but plunged into an eye, it can be as effective.
Claim the man was trying to...
Yes. He stood over my dressing table, pouring.
Mm-hmm. After this is my guess.
Why, that's the heart of Toussaint. Oriana, how did you ever come to have it?
I bought it, many years ago, from a young woman.
Jewel seems important. Why?
The heart is an heirloom. It belonged to my family for years. Then it disappeared. I didn't think we would ever recover it.
Seems someone is very determined to find it. The thief left his tool bag behind. Found this drawing inside it. Look.
The Heart of Toussaint. Representation's pretty faithful. Centurion must have been on a job. Got very clear instructions.
So... is this the only evidence we've...
Also happened on the weapon he attacked Oriana with.
This crest is used by the Lords of Duntine. The present master of the castle is a passionate hunter. Our next lead.
Duntine. Remember the place. Abandoned ruin just a few years ago.
More recently, the family's last heir, Roderick, returned to his ancestors.
Know any more about this Roderick?
His grandfather was an advisor to Queen Ademarta. The family... Roderick is quite the recluse. He avoids society, preferring the company of a small...
Oriana, everything we discussed here, word gets out he, failed in his attempt to steal the jewel. His employer could run. We need to proceed...
Discretion is in the interest of us all. I'll not ask what this is about, just as I expect not to be troubled.
Forgive me, Madam Oriana, but...
You must excuse me a moment.
Oriana...
Few make me feel awkward, but in her presence,
The drawing. It's on the same type of paper the victims' names were written on. Drawn...
You were not only behind the beast's murders, but also stole the Sonreal and sought to steal...
Look, the wine, the jewel, both tied to you intrinsically. Coincidence? Not something. Worried about one thing. That somewhere at the end of this scheme, plan might call for an attempt on your life.
It could be something else all... My sister, Siana, might be among the schemers. She left court when we were children. My parents banished her from the duchy. I've not seen her since.
What did your sister do to get banished?
Siana was...
Parents run afoul of some mate.
No. She was born at an inopportune moment. They said she was touched by the curse of the Black Sun.
Could be the case. Could also be because they were treated like lepers from birth. Isolated, prodded, ostracized.
She was angry at the whole world. She felt inferior, felt pain, though she masked this with confidence, arrogance even. I recall one such situation. She persuaded Cedric the Coolbird that we were children, and Cedric's brother was smitten with me. It wasn't it. Siana knew of it. She told Cedric of a dream she had had, that he would die. Cedric stole his father's sword and killed his brother. She destroyed 2 lives with a prank. Cedric mourns to this day. In the end, they forced her to leave the palace. A decade passed. More. I've missed her terribly since.
Think your sister might be involved? Why?
You see, I recall her always being rather...
Here, that's normal for sisters.
True. I suppose I gave as good as I got. The wine, its theft was the first clue. That's very much like her. Sure, but I grew almost certain when I saw the Heart of Toussaint. Siana received it from father as a gift. At a time when my parents thought of her as but an ill-behaved... Someone wanted some of my wine. The same someone ordered our family jewel stock.
A fallen princess satisfying whims, going after lost luxuries?
Your mission has gained new import. No matter what she did, she is not to be harmed in any way, shape...
Can't guarantee her safety, unfortunately. Especially if she's one of those...
Witcher, that was not a request.
Your Grace, Geralt, I'd like to introduce...
Regis! What a surprise! I had no idea you were in Beauclair. And this is...
My very dear friend, Detlaf van der Eretain, an arrival from Nazaire.
We are lending our combined resources to the Witcher's Hunt.
Ah, yes. Splendid. But why are you here at Oriana's?
They came to pay me a surprise visit, so I invited Regis in for a glass of wine. We've known each other for... ages. Literally. Witcher, I hear you know Regis too.
Few I can rely on like I can on Regis.
Curious. It seems opposite.
Don't be fooled, dear. Geralt has many merits. He merely hides them from the world.
You said you're both aiding him with his contract. It involves the Beast of Beauclair, I suspect. Master Witcher, maybe you could satisfy my curiosity.
Despite what you might have heard, I don't lunge at every monster I see, sword in hand.
I wonder what a monster might have to...
It might want to apologize.
My word. What might the monster wish to apologize to a Witcher?
For killing. Though at times there is no choice, when loved ones are at risk and require protection.
Same as humans. Put them in that situation, they'll kill too.
You understand this. It must be why you and Regis are friends. If I understand you correctly...
If possible, yeah. Or at least try.
Enough about the Witcher trait for now. Regis meant...
Fond memories?
It was wonderful.
I believe we're running short on wine. I should go to the...
Let me go. Wanna help, Regis?
We shall return forthwith.
An exceptional conversation, don't you think?
Highly exceptional, Regis. You crazy bringing Detlaf...
Geralt, allow me...
No, let me explain. He's dangerous.
But that is precisely what I'm doing. Detlaf believes you'll succeed in your...
That is, not until he gets his hands on the men.
Oriana, she really your friend?